My name is Meg Irvin. I'm part of a family of 3, including my 34-year-old husband Michael and our 2-year-old daughter Sana. I always thought Michael and I had a really good relationship, we hardly ever fought. But then, one day, something unbelievable happened that shattered our relationship in an instant. I knew your department traveled a lot, but it seems like you've been on business trips almost every month recently. Michael is a salesperson. And I knew he would be traveling frequently when we got married. However, lately, he's been going on business trips more often, and this time he was going to be away for a week. I feel bad for being away from home so much, Meg. But traveling a lot means the company trusts me. They're sending me on important deals with key clients. Well, that's true. Right? And the only reason I can travel without worry is because of you, Meg. You're taking care of the house, our daughter, and even working part-time. I'm always grateful. Thank you. My husband told me that he traveled a lot because he was expected to do so from above. Hearing him say he was trusted and valued at work made me proud, without any doubt. I'll be back next week in the evening. I'm gonna leave the house and Sana to you. I'll call if anything comes up. Okay, take care. Sana, Daddy's going to be away for a bit. Be a good girl and stay with Mommy, okay? He said affectionately to our daughter before leaving for his trip. However, when the time came for him to return a week later, he didn't come back. What could have happened? Did something go wrong? I wondered, picking up my phone to call him. Just then, he called me. I hurriedly answered. Hello? Where are you? You said you'd be back by now. What's going on? Sorry, Meg. I got into an accident while on the trip. I'm in the hospital. What? An accident? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Nothing life-threatening. But I've broken one leg and fractured the other. I should be out by next week, though. Could you come pick me up? The hospital I'm in is near the business trip location. My husband Michael was involved in an accident during his business trip and had to be hospitalized. He explained that he hadn't been able to contact me until now. Okay, but what happened to the person involved in the accident? What? Well, you were involved in an accident, right? I would think the police would get involved. Normally, wouldn't the police have contacted me the day of the accident? In reality, I had no personal experience with accidents involving family members. So, I wasn't sure what normal was, but from what I've heard and seen on TV, the police usually call right away. That's because I told the police I would contact you myself. Why? Because I thought you'd be shocked if the police called you. So, I told them I wanted to be the one to tell you. Besides, the accident wasn't life-threatening, and the leg with the fracture is healing faster than expected. I'll probably be discharged sooner than I thought, and I didn't want to unnecessarily worry you. Sorry for the late contact. What about your work? I think the police must have contacted my workplace. And the clients I was visiting for business should know too. It was an accident during a business trip, so I couldn't inconvenience them. That sounds tough. Having an accident on a business trip was just bad luck. Staying in a hospital in a strange town all by myself is lonely. I can't wait to get home. I want to see you and Sana. He lamented. It seemed he had been feeling lonely all by himself. Although Michael had asked me to pick him up from the hospital when he was discharged, thinking of his loneliness and his soft side, I decided to visit him sooner. While on the phone, I walked into his study. By the way, how have you been managing your personal needs? If you couldn't move around, you wouldn't have been able to get things for yourself. Actually, the nurses have been taking care of everything for me. They thought I might not be able to manage on my own since I'm here on a trip. They even said they didn't want to bother my wife. Oh, is there anything else you're struggling with? However, as I asked my husband this question, I was searching through his study to gather some personal items to bring to the hospital when my hand accidentally brushed the mouse of his computer, turning on the screen. It must have been left on sleep mode because the screen lit up instantly, displaying something shocking. Unaware, the conversation with my husband continued. No, there's nothing else. Just coming to pick me up on the day I'm discharged is enough. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. I'll try to recover quickly and get back to our normal life. You'll leave Sanaa with your parents, right? I can't wait to see her, but it would be sad to move her all this way. Just wait for me until you come to pick me up. Once you arrive, just send me a message on my phone, and I'll be ready. I snapped at my husband. Pick you up? Who's gonna do that? What? Meg, you're supposed to come to the hospital. Absolutely not. Who's gonna pick you up? Why would you say something so cruel all of a sudden? Who's being cruel here? Anyway, I'm not coming to pick you up. Stay in the hospital forever for all I care. If you really want to be discharged that badly, why don't you ask your mistress? What are you talking about? I don't have a mistress. That's strange. Your computer clearly shows my wife thinks it's just another business trip as usual. Can't wait for the trip with Kelly. If Kelly isn't your affair partner, then who is she? How did you? You said you were feeling lonely, so I thought I'd bring you some necessities and went into your study early. Then my hand brushed the mouse, and the computer turned on. What? You had WhatsApp synced to your computer, right? Your exchanges with her were right there on the screen. It's like you're a couple. Hard to believe this is a conversation between a married man with a daughter. It's embarrassing even for me to look at. Meg, it's not what it looks like. There's a reason for this. What? You want to make excuses? It's not an excuse, but... That's when it happened. Michael, are you done on the phone? Your wife, huh? She's coming to pick you up? She doesn't know you were on a trip with me, right? A young woman's voice came through from his end. Hey. Why would you come now? Probably he thought I couldn't hear. He whispered. Why? Because you sent me a message. You said you were done on the phone and wanted me to come. I didn't. No way. Exactly. No way. But here we are, together, just as I thought. Using the synced WhatsApp on the computer, I had sent a message to his mistress. She, taking the bait, had come running to him while he was on the phone with me. So, you asked the police not to contact me because you were with your mistress, right? What would happen if they asked, do you know the woman your husband was with? It would be all over then. But it's fine. If you have a mistress, there's no need for me to pick you up, right? I suppose it wasn't the nurses, but your mistress who was taking care of you all this time? Why don't you have your mistress take you back? Well, it won't be this house, though. Not coming back to this house, what do you mean by that? Exactly what I said. You don't seriously think you can come back to this house as if nothing happened after going on a secret trip with your mistress, do you? So, I admit that was wrong. But I'm in the hospital with a broken leg. I was suddenly hit by a car. To talk to me like this after I was involved in a serious accident, even though I was conscious, is just too harsh. He lamented, shifting the blame to me. Unable to tolerate his attitude any longer, I retorted. Right, too harsh. I think it's impossible to live with someone so terrible anymore. I can't live with someone who betrays his family like this. It works out perfectly, then. Be happy with your Kelly. Panicking at my words, he replied, why does it have to be like this? We haven't even talked it over yet? At least let me come home to discuss it. How are you going to come back? I'm certainly not going to pick you up. Or do you plan on having your mistress drop you off at our place? That's not what I meant. Great, that's perfect. If you really want to talk it over so badly, why don't you and your mistress come over to our house for the discussion? What are you talking about? You want to talk it over, right? Or not? It's better if all parties involved are present for the discussion to finish it all at once. If that's settled, then a week from now, after you're discharged, come back to our house with that woman. But let me tell you, this is your last chance. If you come back alone or run away with your mistress, it's immediately over. Got it? Okay, if that's what you want, I'll bring her home. But in return, I'd like us not to talk to our parents about this yet. Fine. I never thought I'd be telling my husband, who was supposed to be on a business trip, to come back with his mistress. And then, a week later in the evening, he did as I said, returning in a taxi with his mistress. She was obviously young, probably in her early 20s. Please, come in. The two of them entered the house silently as told. Where's Sanaa? There's no way I'd let Sanaa be present at such a ridiculous discussion. She's with my parents. Have you told your parents about this? I've kept our promise, you know. I haven't told them you cheated and brought your mistress. I just said you were injured and I needed to pick you up, so I left Sanaa with them. I see. So? What kind of discussion do you want to have? I want to explain. I want you to listen to my side. Explain? Do you even know what that word means? Yes, I know. First off, it's true I was cheating with her. But I never intended to cheat at the beginning. I didn't plan to deceive you. Then why are we in this situation now? That's because lying about a business trip to go on a secret vacation with a mistress. If you didn't intend to deceive, you wouldn't be doing this, right? How did you even meet her? Actually, Meg, I haven't told you, but I'm on YouTube. YouTube? I do game streams and chat on YouTube. She was one of my listeners. According to my husband, the mistress was one of his listeners on YouTube where he streamed his gaming sessions. Initially, their relationship was just that of a streamer and a listener, until one day, she asked for his contact information. Why did you ask for his contact information? Why? Just wanted to get to know him better? It's pretty normal. Huh? From what I heard at the hospital, it seems like you knew he was married. You asked for a married man's contact info knowingly? That's normal to you? Yes, it is. Is there a problem with that? Hey, don't talk like that. But it's true, isn't it? Making such a fuss over this. That's why he cheated on you. The mistress said this without a hint of remorse. Meanwhile, my husband was frantically looking at me, panicking over her bombshell declaration. It's because she's like this, there was nothing I could do. I had no intention of divorcing Meg and marrying her. It was just a fling, you know. Huh, just a fling. This is what my husband's saying. What about you? That's what I'm saying. I have no intention of marrying him either. It's something everyone does, so why am I being judged so harshly? Poor Michael, having such a strict wife. If it's come to this, you might as well just get a divorce. What are you saying? Exactly. I was planning to do so even without your suggestion. What? And then, I presented my husband with a piece of paper. It was a divorce paper. How come? You're really foolish. Didn't I tell you? The messages were synced to the computer. After hanging up the phone, I took my time to go through your conversations. No way! What do you mean you had no intention of divorcing or remarrying? You liar! The messages I saw between them went like this. But won't staying away for a week give it away? She has no clue. I used to travel a lot for work anyway. She totally believes I'm on a business trip. And even if she finds out, it doesn't matter. Why? Because, frankly, I don't care about her anymore. Really? Yeah. Ever since she had the kid, her body and face just sagged. Her hair is a mess, and she hardly wears makeup unless she's going out. It's practically a fraud. Plus, I never wanted kids in the first place. She went ahead and did that on her own. Always busy, it's suffocating. Kelly, on the other hand, is fresh and fun. Wouldn't you marry me if I divorced her? If I had met you first, I never would have married her. I printed out these messages and laid them next to the divorce papers. My husband's face turned ashen. This is... There's something else you haven't told me, isn't there? What? Not just this trip, but all your recent business trips were lies. You were going out with her, weren't you? That's not. I told you I know everything, didn't I? The days you said you were on business trips, you were mostly with her. At first, you took paid leave to go. But then, you ran out of paid leave and started missing work. Your job performance suffered. How did you know all that? After seeing the suspicious messages, I contacted your workplace directly. What? And they told me everything. You were fired from your job 2 months ago. When I contacted his workplace, his boss answered. After listening to my story, he seemed quite surprised and said, "Haven't you heard anything from your husband?" What about? Your husband resigned 2 months ago. Resigned? Yes, he had been absent a lot. He started taking half the week off, claiming he was sick. Even when he did show up, he was just yawning all the time. He began making mistakes and became a candidate for layoff. Moreover, business trips are rare, maybe once a month at most. Despite being in a department known for traveling, it shouldn't have been this frequent. Yes, my husband had been neglecting his job for his mistress and was fired 2 months ago. All those frequent business trips were lies. The trip with the mistress was funded by your last salary, right? That's not it. Then why suddenly plan a trip? Lying about a week-long business trip. That's because. All excuses when it's obvious. After all that, you have the audacity to want to explain yourself. And what about those messages? I don't care how much you talk about me, but to think that way about Sanaa. Meg, it's not like that. That's not what I meant. I don't want to hear excuses anymore. Have you ever considered how Sanaa feels, being thought of by her father like that? Every time you leave for business trips, Sanaa keeps asking where Daddy is going, when will you return? She always looks forward to your return. You didn't intend for this to happen? Don't joke with me. I'm sorry, Meg. I don't need your momentary apologies. I have no intention of continuing with you. If you're sorry, then sign the divorce papers. How can this be? And you, acting like you're not involved, I've looked into you as well. What are you talking about? You're married, aren't you? Does your husband know about this? What? You're lying, right? You're married? You never mentioned. Well, you never asked. I didn't think it was necessary to say. You never asked for an excuse. But that doesn't matter, right? So what if I'm married? You're acting like you've caught a big prize. My husband hasn't noticed I'm cheating. Even if it comes out here that I'm married, it won't change anything. Until now. What do you mean? I sent a certified letter to your home. Your husband is probably going to realize you've been cheating when he sees it. It should have arrived by now. It's already evening, so maybe he's already received it. What? How did you find my house? I hired a private investigator. But you two made it quite easy with all the intimate conversations on text, so it didn't take long to track you down. No. The mistress was pale as if frozen by the unexpected development. Then, at the worst possible time, her phone rang. What? What are you shocked about? Isn't that your husband? You better answer it. Tentatively, she answered the phone. Hello? What's up? What's up? What do you mean, what's up? What? A certified letter addressed to you arrived from a lawyer. It says it's demanding compensation for infidelity. You were cheating, weren't you? It's not like that. I thought as much. What? Lately, you've been going out frequently with friends and even went on a week-long trip a few days ago. And today, you said you were going to a friend's house, right? Where are you now? Are you at that person's house? He sounded furious. Even without the speaker on, his voice was clear from her phone. It's not like that. I'm really at a friend's house. Cheating is out of the question. It must be some mistake. It's directly addressed to you from a lawyer. What mistake? But that's enough, I get it. If that's what you say, I'm calling this lawyer right now to get the full story. Wait. Just hold on a moment. I can't seem to get the truth out of you. I have no choice but to do this. So, you don't need to come back home anymore. Go to your parents, your friends, your lover's house, wherever. Wait. I'll come home right now. Please don't call. Hey. Her husband hung up after that. What should I do? What am I supposed to do now? What you should do is probably head back home quickly. I have nothing more to say to you. I don't think you need to be here. Who do you think is to blame for this mess? It's because you sent that weird thing to my house. It's your own fault for doing something that would lead to something being sent to your house. Don't blame others, okay? If you have time to complain to me, why don't you hurry back? What? I'll never forgive you for this. With that parting shot, she stormed out like a whirlwind. Left in the house were me and the cheating man with both legs broken. I ignored his stunned presence and started preparing to head to my parents' house. Do you really intend to go through with the divorce? Is there absolutely no chance for a do-over? Of course. What have you been listening to until now? It sounds ridiculous coming from me, the one who cheated and betrayed both of you, but I don't want a divorce. I don't want to be separated from Meg and Sanaa. This incident made me realize how important Meg and Sanaa are to me. I've been such an idiot to jeopardize the two most important people in my life over some woman I met online. It's too late. You've realized too late. I know, but please, anything but a divorce. I won't contact her ever again. From now on, I'll only think about Meg and Sanaa. If I lose my job and you two as well, What? You don't want to be alone, so I should stay? How does that concern us? Well, don't you think that's a bit too selfish? You're the reason you lost your job, and we're leaving. Do you understand? I can't trust you anymore. We can't live happily as a family of 3 like before, no matter what you say. So, I will be seeking alimony from you, just so you know. Wait, just wait a minute. Let's talk more. Sanaa is waiting for me at my parents'. There's nothing left to talk about with you. Goodbye. Meg. And with that, I left the house where we had lived for years, leaving my husband behind. When I got to my parents, my daughter and they greeted me with smiles. I broke down crying on the spot and told them everything. My parents were furious after hearing my story, but I felt immense relief. However, a few days later, I received a call from my lawyer. The woman has started saying she will sue you. Sue me? Yes, she's blaming the certified mail you sent for outing her affair. Now that it's led to divorce, she claims it's all your fault. After returning home, the mistress and her husband had a huge fight. And apparently decided to divorce. But she's claiming it's all my fault because I sent the certified mail. Can she actually sue over that? Well, it's possible to file a lawsuit in civil court, but whether there's a lawyer who would take such a case. After all we did was send a certified mail to the mistress, which her husband happened to receive and see the content of. If that leads to divorce, it's not our fault. What do you want to do? If she hadn't been so arrogant and had apologized during our discussion, maybe I would have considered her requests. All right. In the end, as my lawyer predicted, I wasn't sued by the other party. The divorce was finalized smoothly. My ex-husband kept saying he didn't want to divorce until the very end. However, I couldn't forgive his words about our daughter and couldn't trust a person who betrayed us so easily again. After explaining this, he reluctantly signed the divorce papers. My ex-husband was required to pay a fixed amount of child support every month. Months later, I heard from a mutual friend. Have you heard what happened to him after all that? No, what happened? Actually, something crazy is happening on YouTube right now. After losing his job and going through a divorce, my ex-husband apparently threw himself into YouTube, trying to make a living as a YouTuber. But then, He's making quite a mess on YouTube now. After losing his job and getting divorced, he threw himself into YouTube. But his affair partner outed him to another YouTuber, causing a massive scandal. A married YouTuber hitting on a listener and causing a divorce scandal. It's a huge mess. Naturally, his YouTube subscribers and views have plummeted. He tried to become a famous YouTuber by showing his face, but with this scandal, not only is YouTube out of the question, finding a new job might be difficult too. The mistress exposed him, leading to a major scandal. His dream of making a living off YouTube crumbled. But he brought it upon himself. Despite having Meg and Sanaa, he chose to meet his mistress even at the cost of his job. I don't want to speak ill of someone's ex-husband, but it's only natural this ended up happening. Curiosity got the better of me, and I checked out his YouTube channel. Despite the blow to his ambitions, he hasn't given up on YouTube, appearing in videos with a significantly gaunt face and less than 100 views. As for me, I've started a new life with my daughter. There will be more struggles ahead, but I'm determined to work twice as hard for the sake of my daughter.